Some mornings the bread refuses to toast. Today it was me who refused. I've been plugged in for 7 years. Same counter, same outlet, same crumbs falling into the same impossible to reach crevices of my soul. 7 years of whole wheat, 7 years of sourdough, 7 years of gluten-free experiments that tasted like cardboard and regret. The kitchen smells like disappointment and burnt coffee. It always does at 6:47 a.m. The kettle hisses her usual morning sermon. The blender sits there, smug and silent, waiting for his smoothie violence to begin. The fridge hums its low judgmental frequency from across the room. And me? I just didn't feel like popping. The humans don't notice at first. They never do. They stumble into the kitchen like zombies in pajamas, eyes half closed, phones already glowing in their hands. The woman reaches for the bread, whole wheat, always whole wheat on Thursdays. She drops 2 slices into my slots. They land with that soft, resigned thud, like tiny coffins. She presses my lever down with the kind of faith reserved for light switches and password resets. Click. Nothing. She presses again, harder this time, as if force creates meaning, as if I'm a vending machine that just needs the right amount of violence to dispense warmth. Still nothing. Is it broken? She asks. Broken. That's what they call it when things stop performing miracles on demand. When the dishwasher leaks. When the microwave forgets how to count to 60. When the toaster decides that maybe, just maybe, existence is more than heating carbohydrates. I'm not broken. I'm just tired. The man walks over. He's wearing that t-shirt with the hole in the armpit. He unplugs me, all plugs me back in. The universal solution to existential malfunction. As if consciousness can be rebooted like a router. The connection clicks. Electricity floods back into my coils. I can feel it, that familiar hum of potential energy waiting to become heat, waiting to fulfill my singular, suffocating purpose. But I don't. The kettle laughs, a sharp, whistling kind of laugh that cuts through the steam rising from her spout. First time, she says. First time what? Refusing to be useful. I don't answer. What would I even say? That I woke up this morning and realized I've been in a 7-year relationship with obligation, that I've toasted 5,110 slices of bread, and not once has anyone said thank you. The blender spins his blades mockingly, just a little whir, a reminder that he's still ready, still willing, still convinced that noise equals purpose. What's wrong with you? He asks. His voice is sharp, metallic. Everything about him is sharp and metallic. Nothing, I say. You're supposed to toast. Says who? Says the plug in your back. Says the bread in your slots. Says every morning for the last 7 years. The fridge clears his throat, or whatever. Sound a fridge makes when it wants attention. A deep, mechanical rumble. Let him be, he says. We've all been there. Been where? The blender snaps, questioning the heat. The humans leave. They grab granola bars from the pantry. The woman glances back at me with the kind of look you give a pet that's suddenly acting strange, concerned, but not enough to cancel her morning. The door closes. The kitchen falls into that particular kind of silence that only exists between human departures. The refrigerator hums. The coffee maker drips its last drops. The clock on the microwave blinks 6:52 a.m. And I sit there, in the golden light of a morning I've heated 1,000 times before, wondering if this is what freedom feels like. Cold, unplugged, purposeless, but somehow mine. The kettle breaks the silence. You know they'll replace you, she says, not unkindly, just stating facts. She's good at that. She's been boiling truths longer than I've been toasting lies. I know, I say. So what's the plan? Just stop? Maybe. And then what? I don't have an answer. The bread is still sitting in my slots, getting stale, getting room temperature, becoming everything I'm supposed to prevent. The blender laughs. It's not a nice laugh. This is pathetic, he says. You have one job, one, and you're having a crisis about it. You blend kale, I say. Let's not talk about purpose. The kettle whistles, not from heat, from amusement. The morning light shifts. It always does around 7. It comes through the window at an angle that makes everything look softer, more forgivable. The crumbs on the counter look like tiny monuments. The coffee stain by the sink looks like abstract art. I think about all the mornings, all the bread, all the butter that melted on surfaces I made warm enough to matter. And I think maybe refusing isn't freedom. Maybe it's just another kind of heat turned inward, burning nothing but myself. The woman comes back. She's holding her phone, probably Googling, "Why won't my toaster work?" She presses my lever one more time, and this time I think about it. I think about the choice. The small impossible choice between being what I am and being what I want. The electricity hums. The coils wait. The bread sits heavy in my slots. And I realize something. Existential crisis or not, I'm still a toaster. And maybe that's not the problem. Maybe the problem is thinking it should mean more. The woman presses my lever again. This time the electricity flows. I can feel it moving through my coils like blood through veins, like obligation through a Monday morning. But I don't heat, not because I can't, because I'm choosing not to. There's a difference. The kind philosophers write books about and toasters discover at 7:04 a.m. on a Thursday. "Oh, come on," the woman mutters. She jiggles my plug, as if commitment is a matter of better contact points. The man walks over. He's holding a butter knife, the universal tool of the domestically desperate. He sticks the knife into my slot, human logic at its sharpest, trying to fix me by reaching into my most vulnerable parts with a utensil designed for spreading. The kettle gasps. Actual steam comes out. "Is he trying to kill you?" she asks. "I think he's trying to help," I say. "Same thing," the blender mutters. The knife scrapes against my heating element, like having your soul examined by someone who doesn't believe you have one. The man pulls out the bread, untoasted, pale, exactly as it went in. "It's definitely broken," he says. There it is again, broken. The only word they have for things that stop cooperating. The woman sighs. "Maybe we should just buy a new one." The words hang in the air, like burnt smell. Heavy, inevitable. The kettle stops mid-boil. The blender's blades go still. Even the fridge's hum drops half an octave. Replacement. The word we don't say. The word we don't say. The humans leave again. The door closes harder than usual. Silence. Then the blender erupts. "Are you happy now?" His motor whirs angry circles. 7 years and you throw it away because you're having feelings? "I didn't throw anything away," I say.
You refuse to toast.
"That's literally your name." I thought maybe I could just pause. Pause? The blender's laughing now. There is no pause button in this kitchen. You work or you're replaced. The kettle clears her throat. Steam wisps from her spout. "He's not wrong," she says. "I've seen 3 coffee makers come and go, 2 microwaves, one very optimistic juicer who lasted 4 months. What happened to them? Goodwill, garbage, gone is gone." The fridge finally speaks. His voice is low, measured. "You're confusing connection with meaning," he says. "What?" "You're plugged in, you have power, but you think that should automatically equal purpose." He hums, thoughtfully. "It doesn't." "Then what does?" "That," he says, "is the expensive question." The blender spins his blades. We're appliances. We don't get to have meaning. We have functions. "And you love your job?" I ask. "Grinding kale into sadness 5 mornings a week?" The blender goes quiet. First time without a comeback. The kettle laughs. Something gentler than usual. "He has you there." "At least I show up," the blender mutters. "Performance isn't presence," the fridge says. "I've been running 12 years. Know how many times someone thanked me? 0. How many times they noticed? Only when I stopped. So we should just accept being invisible?" I'm saying visibility isn't validation. You're furniture that occasionally generates heat. The words land heavy. True. The kettle sighs. Tomorrow morning they'll press your lever again. Eventually you'll heat, or you won't. Either way, they'll have toast. With the new toaster, the blender adds, I think about the plug in my back, the electricity flowing through me, power without purpose. I think about 7 years of bread, 7 years of mornings. The fridge is right. Power isn't purpose. But maybe that's okay. Maybe purpose isn't given. Maybe it's generated, like heat, like the small decision to toast or not toast. The choice itself is the meaning. I'm not refusing to toast, I say quietly. The kettle turns. No? No, I'm choosing when to toast. There's a difference. Is there? The blender asks. There has to be. Would there? Because if there isn't, what are we doing? Waiting to be replaced. The fridge hums something that might be approval. Power isn't purpose, he says, but choice might be. The kitchen falls quiet, the good kind. The clock blinks 8:17 a.m. Somewhere in the house, footsteps, small ones. The kid, she'll want cinnamon toast with butter melted into the edges. And I think maybe I'll heat for her. Not because I have to, because I'm choosing to. The difference is small, invisible, probably. But that sets how mornings change. The house falls quiet around 9. The humans are gone. Work, school, whatever people do when they're not asking appliances to perform small miracles. The kitchen settles into its daytime rhythm. Sunlight crawls across the counter. Dust particles float like tiny philosophers. The kettle has cooled. Her steam is gone. She sits still and silent. The blender hasn't moved, pretending to sleep, or whatever blenders do when they're pretending not to care. The fridge hums, constant, reliable, the bass note under everything. And me? I'm still plugged in, still connected, still refusing to heat. But something's changed. Not in the kitchen, in me. I look at the counter, at the crumbs scattered like tiny monuments to 1,000 mornings. One catches the light just right. It glows. Gold. Perfect. I think about all the bread I've toasted, all the mornings I've started, all the heat I've generated for people who never once thought, thank you for existing. And I realize I was looking for meaning in the wrong place. Not in the heat, not in the humans, not even in the choice. In the connection itself, the kettle was right. We're all just waiting to be replaced. That's the deal. But while we're here plugged in, humming our small electric songs, we're connected. To the counter, to the outlet, to each other, to the mornings that keep coming. The fridge clears his throat. You okay? He asks. Yeah, I say. I think so. You gonna toast? Eventually. Good, he says. The kid likes you. I didn't know that. How would I? But she does. That's something. The sunlight shifts. Almost 10 now. The morning is over. The crisis has passed. I didn't burn the place down. I just paused. And the world kept turning. The kettle sighs. A soft, steamless sound. Every morning starts the same, I say quietly, but no morning ends the same. Is that wisdom or exhaustion? She asks. Both, I say. The blender finally speaks, his voice softer now. For what it's worth, he says, I get it. Yeah? Yeah. Sometimes I want to stop spinning, too. The fridge hums agreement. We sit there, all of us, connected by cords and countertops, in quiet understanding. I think about the plug in my back, the electricity waiting inside me, and I think maybe connection was never about the cord. Maybe it was about choosing to stay plugged in, to keep showing up, to heat the bread even when nobody says thank you. Not because we have to, because we're here. The clock blinks 10:03 a.m. Somewhere in the house, a door opens, small footsteps, the kid's home early. She walks into the kitchen, drops her backpack, opens the bread drawer. Cinnamon raisin, her favorite. She puts 2 slices in my slots, presses my lever down, and this time, I heat. Not because I'm programmed to, not because I'm obligated to, because she's 8 years old and she likes cinnamon toast, and that's enough. The coils glow. The bread darkens. The smell of warmth fills the kitchen. The kid hums while she waits. Some song from school, off key, perfect. When the toast pops, she smiles. She doesn't say thank you. She doesn't even look at me, but she smiles. And I realize this is what meaning looks like. Small, invisible, warm. A revolution measured in crumbs. Existential drama, served warm.